By the doorway there are 8 metal boxes bolted to the wall. They hold keys. At dawn you hear suitcase wheels coming down the stairs, and at night different ones going back up. The letterboxes no longer carry names, they carry numbers. The bakery downstairs closed and now sells sandwiches and straw hats. The building still stands, untouched in the photograph. What has vanished is something else. The question holding this video together is not how many tourists a city can hold. It is more uncomfortable. When does a neighborhood stop being a neighborhood, even though every building remains exactly where it was? Look at the mechanism before the effects, and the mechanism is arithmetic. A home rented to a household produces a steady monthly income. That same home rented by the night to visitors produces a far higher daily rate, with gaps between stays. In the historic centers of many European cities, a flat occupied barely 10 nights a month already matches what it would earn from a family across 30. From there no conspiracy is required. Each owner simply has to do the maths correctly. Housing stops competing with itself and starts competing with the hotel. And the hotel always pays more per square meter. That gap in profitability does something deeper than raise prices. It changes the nature of the asset. The flat stops being a place where someone lives and becomes a business unit with occupancy, rate, and season. The researchers Cocoligant and Gargo documented this in a historic district of Lisbon and found no sharing economy anywhere. They found systematic purchase of property to run it by the night. They called it tourism-driven displacement. The resident does not leave because he wants to. He leaves because the lease is not renewed, because the whole building shifts use, or because the price of the flat next door has redefined what his own is worth. The effects follow in a chain, always in the same order. Commerce changes first. The haberdashery, the hardware shop and the greengrocer cannot pay what a souvenir shop pays, because the tourist buys dearer and buys only once. Then public services change. With fewer households, local schools lose enrollment and some close classrooms. Then coexistence changes. Living together requires repetition, recognizing faces, knowing who lives upstairs, lending a tool. With daily turnover that becomes impossible, not through any malice of the visitor, but through social physics. A neighborhood is a web of relationships sustained over time, and time is exactly what the short stay removes. The Portuguese case is well measured. A study by the economists Franco and Santos found that a rising share of tourist listings clearly pushed up housing prices, with a far stronger effect in historic centers and in areas attractive to visitors. The impact, in other words, does not spread across the city. It concentrates wherever the neighborhood is most photogenic. In Barcelona the conflict has gone further, all the way to political decision. The city has announced it will let every tourist housing license lapse by the end of this decade, aiming to return around 10,000 flats to the residential market. Several metropolitan municipalities have copied the measure. It helps here to separate fact from interpretation. The fact is that tourist use of housing raises prices and shrinks residential supply in specific areas. The critical interpretation is that the process turns a neighborhood into a stage set, a city that keeps its facades and swaps its population, a backdrop inhabited by rotation. The editorial opinion, and I flag it as such, is that this outcome is no accident of tourism, but a predictable consequence of treating housing as a financial asset before treating it as a right. Where central urban land is scarce and the law permits any profitable use, the most profitable use always wins. And living is never the most profitable use. Now the counter-argument, which deserves respect. Tourist accommodation makes up a small fraction of the housing stock in almost any large city. It can hardly explain on its own a housing crisis that also exists in cities with barely any tourism. The evidence shows the effect is strong where listings concentrate and weak or absent across the wider metropolitan area. Many owner families have used that income to shore up low earnings, and some districts climbed out of decay thanks to arriving visitors. Industry representatives also warn that banning without inspection capacity simply moves the activity into an underground market, where nobody protects anybody. It can still be argued that the objection misjudges the scale of the harm. A metropolitan average dilutes what happens in 4 or 5 districts, and those districts form the inhabited heart of a historic city. A localized impact is not a minor impact when it always lands in the same place. And something never captured by any price, the loss of community does not recover at the speed it is destroyed. A dwelling can return to the residential market within a year. A neighborhood network woven over decades does not return because a license expires. Regulation can slow the process, but it cannot rewind the population that already moved to another town. Return to the opening question. When does a neighborhood stop being a neighborhood? The answer lies neither in visitor numbers nor in the height of rents. It lies in whether anyone still knows the name of the person on the second floor. A city can preserve every stone of its old quarter and have lost precisely the thing that made those stones mean something. So when you walk through an immaculate historic center, the useful question is not how many hotels there are. The useful question is how many windows light up on a Tuesday evening in November, and who will switch off the last one.